Well, let's call this meeting to order. Wendy, can we we'll do the president's I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mr. Barlow?
Here.
Mr. Jackson?
Here.
Mr. Keigel?
Here.
Okay. Before we go into our public comments or anything, we're going to recess for about a 15-minute executive session to discuss a couple of employee matters that we need to talk about in an executive session. So we're adjourning the meeting for now and go into an executive session. Okay, folks?
Where is it?
You're going to do it in
Yeah. I was like, where are you going to tell me that before I sit down?
There's 3 chairs in there. You need another chair. Or you're going to stand.
I'll stand.
Did we deliver this?
Yes. Okay. That's just what's like.
Alright, I was like, wait, there's no text, so I just wanted to make sure. And then this one, did you check it or you still needing to verify if it came through? Because it wasn't when remember I told you that it didn't come through whenever I got the
That's
file?
because we have to run it. Just sending it to look. We give this back to me so you know. Put the stamp on it and put it back in my box with this note. You know what I mean? And then I'll mail it after I work. How's that sound?
That's fine. I was trying to figure out, I'm like, I can't look.
Right. So you just put it in the envelope with that sticker on it.
Okay.
And give it back.
Alright.
What? I thought you had access. Wink, wink.
Oh, yeah.
What are you doing on this?
We're gonna do because we gotta do this and then that and so,
Yeah, we'll put together. So, do you have more things to enter still?
like maybe 8 of them.
I reformatted them. Choose something in there. And we might be able to pull this stuff in zombies.
We still have to do labels.
Or do you want to do labels that we already formatted it?
Okay.
So, I'll just take 4 letters of this. Yeah, so then I put a line when you choose the word folder. And then you just fold it on the line.
Okay.
Okay, so those 2 things will come through right now.
That works.
Right. And I also added the address because the address wasn't, I only had the name and address.
Like the property address?
Yeah, the
Okay.
property address for the top 2, because you someone would wonder like, wherever, whoever, and it doesn't have to live in the so that way, in that case, it's not the same. Should be fine.
I guess they were trying to think about people who were like new owners, because I've gotten a couple of things like tax.
The only thing you're gonna have to do is check the addresses, cause that, you're not updating your addresses when you get the updates from the tax.
No, because I had the old list, we have the new list, we have the 2021 one, but we're
I
checking
wouldn't
out
use that.
2020.
I wouldn't even use.
Yeah, because we had to keep track.
Your tax, your tax list is updated. Is there a way to print out just a list of addresses?
Got anything? I do
Report,
assessment
because if they
reports.
would just do
I do
those,
an
then-
assessment should get, so I'll do like an assessment report whenever I do change stuff in the database to get it authorized by county. So I have that list of names, but
No, I
most
want a
of them,
complete list of names of everybody currently who lives here.
you won't have that, no, because it depends on when the tax, when it changed. Sometimes they change it, sometimes I have to change it, just depends on
So-
when the sale was.
But in your database, you have a list of everybody. So if they paid or didn't pay, they're in there. So everyone, that's what I'm looking for. And maybe I'll ask Kim or something if they take down a list from there to show, they just name the address. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll run it against all of it. And then I'll go through like, and we'll run our own name the address. Or if we send them out and then they come back, we can just look them up. We can do that too.
Hi, Brandon.
Because they'll come back.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
And then
I'm here.
I hear ya.
Yeah, just do that. I know, if they do something 10,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
not hard.
no, I'm wondering. I put them on your seat.
Thank you.
Your receipt. Oh, you got it. Well, we'll do that.
I got them, but I didn't get the car.
So, once you enter this, then you'll learn the form letters and I'll look at the form letters first because some of them have 2 or 3 ones and if they have one line, it bumps it down too far here.
You did
I'll
this
just
one.
edit that.
I heard.
If it adds another one, it's gonna bump it down.
Yeah, the car was
But if you want to change the merge.
Oh, yeah, you gonna get him
If you
on
want to
that?
have 4 lines, I'll fix them.
I sat out there and John's always driving today.
He comes by Mickey's house too.
No,
Yeah.
I was out there home.
I don't think it's probably.
And Heard him, he comes all the way down track road, you can hear him coming, and then he come back to Sanders Road there too. I'm like,
Somebody
"Holy moly."
Somebody got his license.
Did you give me that whole box?
They sold the
That
cars
was
for a
real.
Yeah.
Because I think it took out today to do.
It's a newer car too.
If we
I
don't,
think the one,
it'll be here
one
in
thing
2 days and we'll
goes
just
up
stop
on the
and use
Susan.
this week.
2012.
4-door,
Yeah.
black, I
Yeah.
did, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
so.
Had a, I'm gonna
Just
say,
check through the ones where I
garage
said.
probably late
Yeah.
20s to late 30s, somewhere in that range, one
Yeah.
guy. Yeah, that's who was in it.
So we'll see. I sat out 2 hours tonight on the tractor, waiting for him, and of course.
He usually does it right at dark.
Well,
Like
then
it's
I
around
get a
4
call.
o'clock to 5 o'clock.
Right, he was a little late today, cause I just got the call. I just got a call, it was like 25 left or whatever.
Wow.
Just don't know
He
when
was coming by the 2600 block, which is up there where
You need to contact your home.
Boston lives.
Yeah.
And, I thought, man, I'm gonna cut down as fast as
Well,
I
I
can
don't
go.
get a response today,
And cut
so.
down to,
I was on, I was like, I didn't know.
Someone called me today.
Well,
That's when I need to ask you.
Yeah.
down the track and see if I can get down there in time to cut it off. But,
So busy, no call.
You don't mess around.
of course, by the time the lady called 911,
Oh.
and then they dispatched it to me, you know, it was, how long gone by, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll get it.
Because when he was doing that, he went like that once last week, he did that. When I was out on the Mickey's. And it was like, he would almost like, it sounded like he come to a stop, and then he'd almost flat footed, and wah, 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 but then it would stop. They get quiet, and then it would get real loud again, and then it get quiet. And when he actually come by on Saturday, I was standing at Mickey's barn, and he come by. You can't, I mean, it stinks, and everything, like, it ain't like the exhaust fell off.
Right.
He took it off his one.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and like, oh, it just rusted and fell off. You know, he likes how it sounds, and that's how he drives.
I'm getting him. I guarantee I'm getting him.
Oh, yeah.
I plan to get him
Just usually
before,
likes it.
before Friday,
Well,
on Friday. I'm getting him before Friday. Not I'm coming to work on Friday.
Yeah, it's mine was,
And
it's,
she's getting paid so little.
but the first night I heard it, he had to been 3 miles away from the sound of it.
Well, that's what it's usually like a mile away from Crum and Tract.
She's not getting.
And she said, oh, you can hear him from her house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when I heard him, it took him a good 20 minutes, 15 minutes to get from where I heard him to down here on Sanders. So, I mean, he was a good ways
It's
away.
gonna look higher on the 10th.
It's like, oh,
And
smooth.
she'll do all the Kelly stuff, and she'll do all the final. there's complex things that, you know, you're
Yeah,
like, watching
I mean, it's not like it's a
long term because you're here.
piece of
and
junk
then we'll do
car.
that.
No.
This won't be something.
It's a
that's
decent-
like, I'm not
Yeah.
Should be
gonna
decent
accept the
vehicle.
program because it's a long-term maintenance of that. Too many people in that aisle.
It's the same one, it is a little bit older, it's got like,
Someone deleted half of
the odometer on it, cause they'll,
That's why I don't
run
touch it.
it through Jay's, and he told me the odometer reading on it.
That would be.
Last time, and it said
What if I
130,000 miles on it already. So-
It's gotta be a two thousand and ten.
That's why it's.
Around that
Yeah,
area.
that's what I said, it was like, I think it said it was a 2012.
Yeah, but
So
she'll
yeah.
come in that week and then after that, if it works out, she wants to do is just go to the school.
We'll see.
He knows it's coming.
No, he doesn't.
She has another part-time, and she could do a job for she
For his
only works in the school.
muffler and his faulty equipment card, he doesn't have 5 days to get that fixed.
Yeah.
And then
Doesn't,
somebody else
he's
was
citing him every day after that.
vice versa. Or
Cause
she
it,
would
I mean,
come only on.
it's worse than
Whatever,
like getting
the-
behind a
those 2
Honda that
days,
has one of
the
the big
other
mufflers.
Right,
It always
yeah.
smells burn low, like it is really bad coming out of that place.
And she knows that, and she already talked to the school first. But we're not gonna make her teach her schedule.
Cause when I see him Saturday, like, it was right around 4 o'clock. He was
Right.
coming from Ski Liberty headed towards Stratford.
Okay.
That's what he was saying.
I wonder if that's why they want her with something.
She's used to
Because he goes from there,
She's
all the way down
used to
track to
that
Orchard.
She knows
Orchard,
Yeah.
how to do
and
it.
goes out to 16.
People get.
I'm pretty sure it had PA plates.
It's
on
an,
it.
it does.
She won't take it.
If it's the same one, it's us.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it didn't have a license plate before.
Yeah, no, it comes back to some guy over at Carroll Valley. I don't know, it's my whole time.
Also, she used to work in,
She looked in from time to time.
and you know, you have to.
I did not.
Sorry, well, I'm gonna be dealing with him. See, I said, you can't make complaints about me, do you?
Phone calls.
Then why didn't you do anything?
Huh?
So why ain't he doing anything
Oh,
about it?
he didn't, it's like, kinda like me, when you get the complaint about it, it's just like a Cadillac with a lot of muffler.
Yeah.
That might be a little frightening.
You know,
One person have to deal with.
So,
Yeah, why is this person so angry?
Didn't have an offer. I'm telling you.
hey, you
I
would
know,
know.
you just started a new job. I think she'll be fine, if she wants to do it, but is there anything that happened, this is such a choice where she's got this.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. That's what she's doing now, but she's used to getting paid a lot more because she did actual work and
Yeah.
or somewhere else in insurance. So she's just, you know, trying to make some daily monthly part-time job, but it's too much time. She was like, oh, you're evil. She's, she's just, you know, she's not serious. Which is,
So should I, am I
oh,
sharing
sorry,
it?
yes,
Okay.
no, I don't want to do it. I'll just give her some stuff here, I'll go now. This is really just be a temporary thing, I'll try to get a used laptop or something for her, near her IDs. She's not gonna touch her stuff. No, that's your tax card for stuff, I don't know what her own is. No, I might just move the phone over because I don't install new, I don't, or if I can see if I can transfer loans to that, but I don't know about that. Way Comcast is working, because right now I have. I'll try to see if I can get the phone to my number here. Before we
And
get
then
some
you
years
should
later.
tell her which one, she's my direct line.
Yeah, I'll just see if I can get that. The only thing that really is now is that phone rings, it's gonna ring on 2 phones at every desk. But you can always need it,
Yeah, sure.
because I actually have my phone here. And I know the phone's ringing, I can hear it on the desk. And then I'll look and I'll see if it's going through. I don't know, I do not have a phone on my desk.
Is 99% of the time?
Yeah, so I worked on this today, so that should be fine, should be able to bust it out pretty good. I don't know, what else are we going to create more work for us? You got all the stuff out today, mostly, bills?
Yeah, that way you go. I mean, I think I put them in now because it was 4 o'clock and I already went, so I'll put them in one.
Yeah, is there anything before horrible thing that you're doing right now that you don't want to do? I I don't wanna get her Nikki's, things, I mean, we love doing them, I don't know.
Really? Sure that.
The dictation. She loves doing dictation for Mickey.
3 hours later.
3 hours later. Did the Emmitsburg Journal come out yet?
I don't know.
I would think it did. There's one right there, is that it? I'm gonna go look. He always puts it there, but, they're back.
Welcome back.
Where's it at? Underneath the mailboxes. Okay.
Good evening.
Hello, Bob.
How are you doing?
I'm doing. How are you?
Fine. You're all dressed up.
Is he stressed up?
It's winter.
No. I'll get him.
Spot tricks.
I'll get him.
That's what it is. Okay. So we adjourn the meeting at 7:50, 7:47. Okay, like I said, we had a short executive session to discuss some personnel matters that we needed to attend to tonight, and thank you for your patience. So we'll get back to our regular meeting. So if you are joining us tonight on a conference line, our conference line number is 832-831-2424 with the conference ID number of 28067. This moderator pen, do they need to have that too?
No, that's yours. You shouldn't even have it on there, sorry.
So, anyhow, we have public comment section. Do we have any public comment?
Anybody with us would like to make a comment tonight?
No takers on the thing. Anybody on the floor want public comment? We have 3 public people here and public comment. Okay. Supervisor's comment.
I don't have anything.
Anything from Bobby? Okay. Bob?
I got a couple that are on the agenda later.
Okay.
I can do them now and get them out of the way.
That's totally up to you.
Okay, well, I will. I've been asked to look into the home for the aged, donation.
Oh, yeah.
And that seems, I interviewed the gal over the telephone. She was just not around during the holidays to be able to talk to me. So I talked to Vicki Huffaker, and she didn't seem to be very enthusiastic about our donation. So that sort of led me to be not very enthusiastic about our donation. And she said one of her alternatives, she said, probably be better if we donated to the Fairfield Senior Citizen Center rather than to the Adams County Senior Citizen Center. And she said that was all handled through a lady called Cheryl Kurtowski, who works at the fire department.
Yes.
I tried her, do you know her?
I don't know personally. I know her name.
I call her, I can't reach her, she's apparently taken off. So the lack of enthusiasm on their part sort of dampens my enthusiasm for recommending it, and I recommend that we do not.
Okay.
We haven't donated, they said they provided $14,000 in services over a 10-year period. I wanted to get some details. Who did they help and how? And of course, she divulged any names. I said, well, just give me some numbers, I don't want to give me the names. And I said, that would be helpful if you could send me one of your tax forms, your, tax exempt organization, send me your 990 form so we can see how the money is spent. And she didn't think that. She just said, well, all the money that we collect goes to the health agent. None of it goes to administration.
No.
But that doesn't mean it cause me to hesitate to get into the financial reporting of it. And the other is the Historical Society. They want to build a new building. I was going to call it Taj Mahal. They're in a building now. It's not open to the public. And I couldn't get them to explain to me why it wasn't, except that it's not air conditioned and climate controlled, stuff like that. And they have $5 million already raised for a new county building. And then yesterday I saw in the paper that Cumberland County $2 million to build this.
So they got $7 million.
And no air conditioning?
Pardon?
And no air conditioning?
The extra $2 million was for the air conditioning, so,
Oh.
you know, the guy hasn't called me back, so I'd say that our best approach in completing my assignment there is to just, the request came in the summer, we'll just let it go. And that's the only thing, something else here, but I'll remember when we get to it, but anyway, those are my only comments.
Okay. All right, and from what I had, Bob, is I want to, the time of year.
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
the summons.
Yes, sir. Now, we want to recognize Bob for his many years as being a township supervisor.
Yeah.
This is his last meeting that he'll be attending as a supervisor. So we want to thank you again. He was supervisor from 2010 to 2021, so we want to present you with this plaque here of
Thank you very
appreciation. And also, we would like to give you the certificate from PSATs also for appreciation for your service and many years of service. Bob.
Thank you very much. I will use this on my resume for my next political job.
You can have these things if you want, if you don't, you don't have to.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
No,
you.
it's been interesting and challenging, and I have enjoyed almost every minute of it.
Cool. Well, thank you again. I know Bob, before he became a supervisor, he was also on the planning board, he was on the auditor. He did other things other than his years of service in the supervisor position.
Thanks.
We appreciate that. Did you talk to Judy about
We'll do that next month.
next month with Mr. Hogan?
Yeah, Judy was unable to make it tonight.
Okay.
You did get her written
Oh,
report.
thank you.
Yes, I know. Okay, other than that, I don't have anything that's under the public supervisor comments at this time. Again, thanks again, Bob, we really appreciate it, and we wish you the best going forward.
Thank you.
All right, we're starting with our minutes from the November 3rd meeting, the regular meeting. Everybody have an opportunity to review those minutes.
Yep.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
all in favor?
Aye.
How about the November 10th budget meeting?
Once again, I'll make a motion to approve the budget meeting.
Second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The November 18th budget meeting?
I'll do it again. I'll make a motion to approve that.
And I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for that. The treasurer's report for November the 2021. Everyone have an opportunity to go through the treasurer's report.
Yes, I have, and I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to go on down to the invoices, 11/4/21 through 11/30/21. These are retroactive invoices. You have an opportunity to review those invoices. And if so, can I have a motion to approve those invoices?
I've gone through them, and I make a motion to approve them.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. How about the invoices for 12/7/21?
And I have reviewed those, and I make a motion that we approve them.
I'll
Yep.
second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we'll have our payroll. This is gonna be retroactive from 10/24 to 11/6. 11/11 to 11/21 was the pay date. Everyone have an opportunity to review the payroll for that.
Yes, and I'll make a motion to approve those.
All in favor? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, payroll for 11/7 through 11/24. That's also retroactive. I'll make a motion that we approve those since I was the one that did them.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And the last one is 11/21 through 12/4. It was pay date was 12, will be this coming week, 12/9. So this was current.
And I'll make a motion to approve those since I reviewed them.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, that was quick enough. All right, the next thing on our report is Township Reports, Police. Sheriff.
November of 2021, we're 275 hours. Put 1,124 miles on the cars. used 94.5 gallons of gas. We answered 14 911 calls. PSP came out here and answered 3 for us. Wrote 38 traffic tickets, bless you, 1 faulty equipment, 6 written warnings, and did have 1 misdemeanor arrest. We worked 25 hours in Freedom Township. There were no 911 calls out there. We wrote 41 traffic citations and 9 written warnings. Some of the other highlights of the month, we did go ahead and purchase 2 tasers from Axon, and it'll probably, they said, take somewhere from 6 to 8 weeks for delivery on those. I attended a press conference held at the PennDOT shed out here on the 16th to promote the Click It and Ticket event that had been going on for most of November, and our department did participate in the enforcement of that. Both police cars had the oil changed in them in November. I did also meet with met with the Highland Township supervisors about their expectations for our police coverage that will be starting in January. Actually, I might have done that this month in December. Either way. We've all now completed our mandatory in-service update training for 2021.
Can you give us quickly some highlights of what the Highland Township supervisors expect of you, or anything
Yeah,
different?
I can, but like when we do Freedom Township, all Freedom Township really wants from us is to run speed out there.
Yeah.
Highland Township wants something a little different. They would like us to answer 911 calls that come in. So like when we go on duty here in Liberty for the day, we'll be available to answer a call in Highland Township if it comes in, and that'll be deducted off of their hours. We'll also run some speed enforcement, and we'll do some just regular patrols like we do here in Liberty, maybe some business checks, elderly checks, more of the same stuff that we do here in Liberty Township, not just speed-based like it is in Freedom. So like not if their code enforcement officer wants somebody to go along when he goes out, we'll do that just like we do here in Liberty for ours. That was one of their concerns. So just some things like that to get started with, and then we'll tweak it as we go along. If I have suggestions about something else I see that I think would be beneficial to them, I'll bring it up, and vice versa. If they get something they see or some input from their residents, then we can tweak it as we go along.
That's pretty much what you do here.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for the chief? No other questions?
Yeah, you wrote 50 citations in Freedom in 25 hours and only 45 in Liberty.
Exactly right.
Can't catch that one in Liberty.
What's that?
He's too fast.
Yeah, I'm working on that. If that's the only ticket I write in December, that'll be written. I can guarantee you
She's got a
that.
bug on.
She's got her sights set.
Yes.
Yep.
you're set. Well, then I need, if everyone agrees to the resolution, it's 7A, item I, it's the resolution for Liberty Township to go into an intergovernmental agreement, police agreement between Highland Township and Liberty Township. It says, whereas the Liberty Township Board of Supervisors supports intergovernmental cooperation with neighboring Adams County municipalities in all areas of joint cooperation and services, and hereby Liberty Township has a police department, and hereas the second-class code article, I can see that, section 1904 state that any township may contract with a municipality or corporation to provide police service within the other municipal corporation. When a contract is made, the township police has all power and authority conferred by law on police in the municipality corporation which has contracted with secure police services. Whereas Liberty Township has approached Highland Township to offer police service in exchange for the payment. Hereas the Board of Supervisors of Liberty Township and the Board of Supervisors of Highland shall enter into the intergovernmental service agreement as outlined in attached agreement dated this date, and therefore, it is resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Liberty Township do hereby adopt this resolution this 7th day of December of 2021, a regular meeting which was duly convened in accordance with the law. That's my motion that we adopt this ordinance or resolution. Do I have a second?
Can I just add one thing to that? I just wanna
Oh,
note
yeah.
that Highland did change the end date of the agreement from December 31st to January 5th. And the board just would need.
Yeah,
to
that's in
change
the
that.
contract.
That's in the agreement.
Yeah, that's in the contract, yes.
Okay.
Okay, well, I got a motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay, we're all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll sign that and get that to Highland Township. All right, another thing on the police agenda here, I'll make a motion, hereby make a motion to approve the letter that Chief Hanson had written to send to one of our applicants dated December 3rd, 2021. Do I have a second for that letter?
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Also, we had, I wanna make a motion that right now we put a freeze on all hiring of any part-time police officers until further notice.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, zoning. Let me get to the zoning part here. Zoning, we've got here somewhere, so. Alright, zoning. Alright, the zoning report, we have, land use permits, Harbaugh Valley Road for a deck, for permit for $90, and we have, a non-conformance application, for the land use permit on Texas Road for $90. Total 180 land use permits. Well permit, for Bonton Builders on Terry Lane for $50. And is that 2 well permits?
No, that's just one, it's a subsidy.
Oh, that's okay. So we have a total of public safety of $213 in permits that were issued for the month of November.
You have a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Does anybody know what that well permit over, it's the one on Route 16 you're talking about, isn't it?
No,
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
no, this is on Terry Lane,
No.
15,
No,
15
sorry.
Terry Lane.
Disregard my question.
Let me see here, okay, this time here, we have a request for temporary accessory building, 39, that's our address.
45.
John D.
Yes, sir.
Has written a request for, to be given, request for consideration construction of full-blown structure on the property, at 350 Chopper Road. This is a structure, he's planning on building a house there on this premises here, but he wants to build a shed. If you have enough, your shed's in the packet there.
Yeah, I have it.
With a 24 by 36, 2-car garage type of deal. Any comments on that?
Well, there's a permit request in here for a house and for a shed, I believe. Am I-
Yeah, there's a permit here for the,
Are they both concurrent, I mean, at the same time?
I can elaborate if you'd like me to.
Okay, starting with the location, I'm not sure where that address is.
Yes, sir. 350 Copper Road is, right before you get to the end, it's, second lot before you get to Orchard on the left.
Yeah, this side of Bob,
Yeah.
Mr. Grant,
what's on Mr. Grant?
just this, where the pine trees
Where
are.
pine trees?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know where, exactly.
Okay, I'm trying to store some building materials, being it's just so hard to get them for them early, and I got my, I'm pretty sure my land use is approved, got my stormwater management, got my plans, I got everything I need, but I'm having, trouble getting started right now, and I need stuff to store some, materials, and hopefully break ground in the next 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the builder. Builder's wife has COVID right now, so that's put a delay on that. And so if I can put the building up to store this stuff, my intention is to keep it once we build the house. And if for some reason the house is not built within a reasonable amount of time, I would remove the building. I know your ordinance, what it says, and I don't want to go against the ordinance, but with what's going on the last year and a half with prices on material and everything that's going on, I'm just trying to be a little proactive and get myself in position to get this thing built, because the construction loans only last so long. So, and when you go past the time limit on the construction loans, then you get into other problems. So I'm just trying to be proactive in getting the house built.
I understand.
Now, you're saying that you're anticipating breaking ground in 4 weeks,
4 to 6 weeks?
4 to 6 weeks on your house?
Yes, sir.
How soon do you think you put this shed up?
Probably not that soon.
I didn't say.
No, as a matter of fact, that'll take probably closer to 2 months to get that done, to get that order. But I didn't want to order anything until I had the meeting here tonight. Depend on the outcome, will depend on what I do with that. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
Now, our situation, and you're very well aware of this because you're code enforcement in Littlestown, correct?
I'm the zoning and code, yes.
So you're enforcement. The problem we have here is and you're already aware because you've already brought it in your letter here too. So you know what our zoning says about a building that's not got
You
a
got a
primary
primary residence, yes, sir.
And the problem we had, John, is this, is we had, in the last year, we've had 4, I know, people came and asked us to do the exact same thing you're asking us to do, and we've turned them down. So if we make an exception for you, then we have to go back to them and say,
I completely understand.
so you understand what our situation is. And this past Friday, I actually had a meeting with a resident in our township that is currently building a house. And he wanted the same thing. He wanted us to give an exception to the ordinance. And I told him the same exact thing on Friday. So listen, if I give you an exception to the ordinance, then I have to give the next guy an exception to the ordinance. So we're setting the precedence to do that. So under that thing, if you're gonna start your house in 4 to 6 weeks.
I'm hoping to.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee there. I'm still.
Because what is your thought on this one, as far as legally wise? Because like I said, I know 4 different residents we had this summer that we told them no, because they wanted to put accessory building on their property that did not have a structure there.
Well, first of all, I think that's in our zoning. I don't.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think they have to go to the zoning hearing board to get, you'd have to go to the zoning hearing board to get a variance to do what you're doing. But I don't see how you would get a variance. It's a self-created hardship. So if you're familiar with variances, you know they're tough to get.
I was kind of going on the premise that if I got the land use and everything else, and everything's in motion to have the primary structure, put on the property, not like I'm not going that direction. That's why I was kind of going that way, hoping that, look, I've done everything I can do to move forward to do the project. And that's why I was hoping to show that, hey, I'm going to build a house. It's not like I'm not going to have a primary structure there. So, and at this point, unfortunately, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to build. I'm hoping when I tell you we are, but the way things are going with contractors and different things have been getting delayed a little bit. So
Yeah, and a lot of people I know, like you said, woods, it was up real high, as you know. It's come down a lot lately, but I still don't think it's come down to the point where a lot of people are delaying building the main structure till those prices come down, and I think that's what the chairman's worried about. And what happens if those wood prices double again? By the time we get around to building it, then we got a shed out there for God knows how long, and that's just not going to look good because we, as he said, we're not allowing anyone else to do it. It's crazy times we're in. Especially building. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes now. I wouldn't want to be building.
Well, I guess it's a coin toss right now. It's not sure if we'll wait any longer.
Yeah,
If
could
it
they
gets
go
worse,
higher?
I don't know, and I'm kind of, it's a tough decision, but they have gone down. Most certain building materials have gone down, not all, but I was hoping to put my orders in because some of them will be delayed getting them anyway, and kind of timing things out. Love to be done by June or July of 2022. Kind of my goal, hoping, but I could stretch it to the fall.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask a question regarding the structure you're considering, the garage, or whatever you want to call
Pole barn.
it?
Yes.
Pole barn. The picture you have there has two, looks like 8x9 doors. Is that what you're planning on putting in that building? Roll-up doors.
I'm gonna put a roll-up
You
door
said it
on
was
one
similar
side,
to-
yes. That's not the exact, I couldn't, they didn't have a picture of the exact one I'm looking at,
Mhm.
but, I was just trying to give an idea, it'd be actually 24 by 40, a little longer, and a door on the one side and a couple windows on the,
How big a door do you plan on putting in it?
the typical 9 foot by 8, roll-up door.
So you're not gonna really put any long lumber in there?
My concern more is ordering like windows and stuff like along that line.
Doors and all that sort of
Yes,
stuff?
that's more my concern, but the wood is not as difficult to get right now.
Mhm.
It's the other stuff, interior stuff, for kitchens and,
Yeah.
refrigerator, whatever, all that stuff's what's taking so long, and I'm worried once we get started and they start putting my orders in, they'll catch up and finish what they need to do, and then not have nothing else to finish up. That's kind of what my thinking is.
Mhm.
And I see that happen all the time with builders where I'm at now. You know, I'm a building code official, and I see this all the time. So I'm just trying to be proactive. And of course, if you guys don't want to go, then
I know one of the things that the guy I just mentioned here, that I met with on Friday, at that particular site, they're building a house, right now, and they have a construction trailer sitting there, I guess it's like
Sea
it's
container?
a sea container, and they got windows and doors in the sea container. That's what they brought in, and of course, it's not on the permanent things, they just started and dropped it and put stuff in there. I mean, something like that, if you got your building, your permits and all going forward, something like that, I'm assuming is allowed, because we had nothing to do with that. I mean, they got their permits and the guys got their, we had no involvement in that at all.
Well, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, but that wouldn't be a permanent structure either.
Correct.
That's
That's
just
not
there,
permanent.
that's just temporary.
So that, maybe that's something you could look at that direction, because, like I said, that's exactly what they had sitting on that job site that I looked at on Friday.
okay.
And I was like, huh. And I even asked the fellow when I was there, I says, what do you got in that? He gives me my windows and doors and all. I went, oh, cool, that's all right. So, yeah, like I said, unfortunately, if we do this one here, then the ones that we already turned down have grounds to come back and say, well, you didn't let us do it. And I
I
was like,
completely understand.
that makes it look bad on us. That's where I'm at. Anybody else have any?
No, I feel your pain.
I appreciate you here, that's all.
I do. Well, I think you pretty well understand the whole thing.
All right, so unfortunately, we'll have to deny that, then, so I have to make a motion to deny the request. Have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so
It's all good, it's all good.
all right,
Thanks for your time.
the next thing we have here is, road department, all right. The road department, we had, 705 miles we drove for the month of November. We used a total of 49 gallons of gas, 29 gallons on road, and 56 gallons off-road, for the road department. And of course, we finished up, our tree canopy, at the end of October there, so that's all done. We got the plows ready to go if we get a snow. Just put the 550, put the plow on it yesterday, and the cinders and grease and all that, and got it all ready. GMC, we got it inspected last week, we had to get new tires on it for the past inspection, a little over $800 for tires for it, so that should be good to go for another year, I hope. We also installed a new, the blade.
Oh,
Yeah, the cutting edge, it was, I'm losing it here. What's the name of the blade we put on there, Bob?
carbide.
Oh, yeah, the carbide blade, it cost us about $800 for the carbide blade. And so we installed that on there, so we're ready, for the big truck. We put, a steel faceplate on it to give us longer last on that. Also, Bobby and the road crew we got in there and worked on the tarp. The tarp was messed up, needed to be repaired. And Bobby took the frame apart and straightened that out and got it back together. Also did some welding on the bed of the truck to get that. We won't lose our items that we have in it when we're going down the road. Greased and lubed everything on it. Also, we have all our anti-skid now is in. We're stockpiled anti-skid, we're stockpiled salt, and we also have pre-mix ready to go if we need it. Other than that, we have a little bit of issues out on the road as far as trees coming down and some limbs falling and stuff like that. And that's a major that we really needed to deal with on that. I don't think that's anything else in the road department is the current thing. Yeah, that's all I have for the road department. One thing I will do, I want to go back to the supervisor's comments. I forgot to mention that I did take the NIMS 100 class 2 weeks ago and took the test and passed the test. So I had NIMS 100 certification, and then I went on Friday this past week, took a 3-hour NIMS 700 class, and we'll be taking that test this week at some point in time. We have the NIMS 700. I would recommend that the other supervisors give some thought on taking this, because at some point in time you really have to be on the federal emergency management team, especially if I'm not here for whatever reason. I want to make a motion that we have Wendy take the NIMS 100 class. I don't know that she needs to take the 700. I want to find out from PSATs if she really needs the 700. But the 100 I think she does need, because in the training it talked about filing federal paperwork to retrieve money that you lost during an emergency management operation, and you have to be able to file those papers according to the regulations. So that was falling to Miss Wendy's category. Just another hat to put on.
Thank you so much.
So I'll make a motion that Wendy takes the NIMS 100 online, and then take the test. And then if I can pass it, I know Wendy can pass it. I guarantee you. I failed it the first time, and then I turned around and took it the second time about 5 years later. The only reason I failed it the first time is because I ran out of time. I didn't know it was a time test. But, all right, so I'll make a motion that Wendy would take the NIMS 100.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, Secretary, Treasurer's report.
Do I have anything? Oh,
I don't know,
Mr.
dude.
Barlow, I would like you to go ahead and talk about the applicant that we met with.
Okay, as we spoke about there in executive session, we have an applicant in front of us, Bridget L. Muncie. She's applied for a position. It's an assistant to Wendy, just doing clerical work for the township. And what we met with her on Monday, yesterday at 4 p.m. and interviewed her. She's aware of the hours that we need, about 3 hours, 3 or 4 days, 3 days a week, or maybe 4 at most. She's willing to come in on a temporary trial basis through the Christmas break, December 28th, 29th, and 30th. As I mentioned to you guys in our executive session, I want to make a motion that we bring her on board for those 3 days to see if it's a fit for her, if it's a fit for Wendy, and if so, then we'll move forward. After that, we determine that. And I also want, so first I'll make a motion that we hire her for that temporary trial basis for December 28th through 30th.
I'll second that.
Okay, now, Wendy, just so the minutes reflect, there's a secretary in the township code, then there's an assistant secretary.
She's just in as an administrative assistant, let's be clear. This is
Yeah,
just
I
their
think,
role,
yeah,
their title.
and I think it would be administrative assistant to the secretary. secretary, rather than assistant
There you
secretary.
go.
Okay,
That will be her title, because she's not gonna hold an appointed position.
right, I
She's
just want the minutes to reflect that administrative assistant to the secretary.
Yes,
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lisco. All right, so I made a motion to second it, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, my second motion is we're going to start our starting wage at $16 an hour, for this trial basis. We make a motion for that,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And Wendy, we will, send her a letter or get back in touch with her, letting her know that, her start date is, as we discussed, the 28th. You can set that all up,
okay.
okay? Thank you. Alrighty, anything else for the secretary position? Treasurer's position? No?
Wait and see.
Okay, let's see how that goes. All right, we're moving on here to planning board. All right, the planning board, did not have any, meetings before them in November. There's nothing else, and they had no business to report from the planning board per G's, letter that she sent me. But we do have some things in front of us here tonight. We have, on 7E, EI, consider to approve a request for extension to review time for the land development plan for the Thomas. This is for the airport hangar. They're requesting to have more time to go through their process of planning because they need to correct a lot of stuff. So I make a motion we give them an extension of time.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that will be until February 1st. That'll be the new
Yes.
end
Yes.
date.
According to the request,
Yes.
sorry.
It's okay, I didn't put it on the agenda.
Alright, so our second thing on here that we have is consider accepting an application for review for the Plum subdivision plan dated 11/3/21 on Winchell Road. I'll make a motion that we accept the application for review.
And I'll second that.
All, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That's all we were doing with that tonight, was just to, for it to be reviewed. Alrighty. Then we're gonna go down to old business where Mr. Jackson already took care of the first A and B items. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Alright, update on the waste contract, request bid. I was actually reviewing that here, just prior for me coming in here. There's some things that we need to look at that. I want to talk with Carol about a couple things I've seen in the waste contract. But there's a pre-bid meeting on the 13th that I will be attending at 10 o'clock at Carroll Valley, and then the final bid opening is December the 30th, which we will also be attending that one too. But we need to, there's a couple things in there we need to clarify with Carroll Valley on before we go forward with signing that. Wendy, does the other two supervisors have copies of that bid that they sent to us?
Got it in an email.
Yes, I
Instead of
So they
5
do
pages.
that.
Can you
It
elaborate
just
on?
came in yesterday or something. I haven't even read it. It's 55 pages. I think.
Well, I just briefed through it while I was waiting for
I
the
think
meeting.
that's what it is.
Yeah, it's 55 pages, and I was going through there just briefing over some of the
They
things.
said they had Solomon Hughes review it and update it from last year.
Right.
Did
Mr.
we
Lister, did you
this
review
with
it?
you? Do you want her to review it? Do you want him to review it?
I mean, if there's another attorney reviewing it, I don't see why you need to, you know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the question I didn't know.
That's up to you guys. Usually it's another attorney is reviewing it.
Yeah, but I don't know if anybody is. Is Carol Valley?
Solomon Hughes rewrote the entire thing.
Oh, he is? Okay.
They
okay.
did, and that's what came back. It was 35 pages though, I think, and now it's 55
And
pages.
Well, I see-
Saltzman Hughes represents a couple
Carroll
of,
Valley, at least, and they're doing it on behalf of Carroll Valley. They've taken point on this, and Carroll Valley had.
Now, I did see in the beginning of it, that Carol Valley's requiring a bond
I did not
to be
read
made
it.
out to Carol Valley for, I think, $50,000.
I did not read it, so.
I mean, if you want me to take a look at it, I can.
What I did do, and I have not received a response, and I would encourage you, Mr. Barlow, to ask the same question, maybe you'll get a response, was I asked them to either give me red line changes or tell me what they've changed in order to increase it to 20 extra pages. Because I don't know what's been put in there or taken out, I can't tell. And that way we'll know, because how is this different from last year? And I think those are the important questions we need to know. If the bond wasn't there before, and why is it there now? So that's really what I would encourage you to do. I asked her 2 times over 3 weeks, but I didn't receive a response.
I'll reach out to the president of the board.
Thank you.
Did you have any specific concerns in that contract that you can share, or just thoughts?
No, I just wanted to reiterate some of the things about like the recycling collection. The bin that we have out here now, as I said to Wendy yesterday, that bin's been sitting out there now full for the
They have
past
to pick it.
3 months. And I moved it down there and set it right beside the trash box, and they dumped the trash and left the bin there. And of course, you know, as Wendy indicated, that's not a recycling bin because they didn't ran out or whatever, and just gave us that one. So that's an issue we need to clarify. We're having that problem. Is our residents having that problem too with recycling? The other one too is I'm reading in there about large item pickups. There's 1 item per week. And then the big items like refrigerators and stuff like that has to be called to do it, but they are, I wanna know if they are gonna.
I have always had, I'm in Carroll Valley, and they've always been very compliant with that for large item pickup.
Even the free
I've
stuff?
had the craziest things for them to pick up, sofas, ping pong tables,
Oh.
they will pick them up.
And another one that I know other townships, one of the meetings I went to, some of the problems they were having was litter. And guess what? I went home today and my trash can, was sitting out there to be dumped. Well, half the trash is in my field. So I don't know when they went to dump it or the wind blew by or whatever, but it went. So I was walking around picking up pizza boxes for my son. I know there is pizza boxes all over the place, and I'm like,
Well, you know, a while back, I had trouble with the recycle
yes.
thing, and I called them twice about that, and then it kind of remedied it, but
Okay.
I don't have an official recycle bin from Parks or
Right.
whoever.
Which is that giant.
I have a beige trash can, and they said you gotta mark it recycle.
Alright, so maybe whoever's
And
driving that.
I took a spray can and I painted recycle
Right.
all around it, and they pick it up now, so.
They probably finally have a note on your,
And they only do it,
every 2
one-
weeks.
Yeah. every
They
2
don't
weeks.
do it this week.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
the-
next
Bob-
week.
Bob Jackson taught me how to remember that. The week we're not doing payroll. So we're doing payroll, it's not recycling. So now I'm like, am I doing payroll this week? Okay, I'm not. It's recycling week, so.
Well,
Okay.
if it works, it works.
I would comment that you weren't involved, I think, with the predecessor to Parks. It was much worse.
Oh,
Yeah.
waste
Every
management,
day,
there.
trash all over the place.
Yep.
I think they frisbeed everybody's lids if they had around.
Yeah.
And they're quite unresponsive to any complaints. These people are a lot better than the other
They're
guys,
angels compared to.
even though they're not perfect.
Yeah, they do it pretty
But
good.
they are responsive to complaints if you call them.
Well, and they also call, and if they can't make your trash pickup that day, they've been really good at calling and said, hey, sorry, we'll be by tomorrow or whatever.
Having lived through the predecessor, I had no complaints about Parks.
I think they missed me one day and I called them and said, hey, we got to come out my place. They sent a pickup truck out there. I was like, oh, I'm done. All right, well, those dates are, but like I said, it's the 13th at 10 a.m. at Carroll Valley if you're interested in wanting to go. And the opening bid date is December the 30th, also at 10 a.m.
And will you be attending that one, Mr. Barlow?
Yeah, I have to attend the parent.
I'm gonna try to be there with you.
All right, the next thing is update on cable franchise fees. I just read that today, and boy, do I have some things for those boys.
Well,
Bob, I know you've been dealing with them, so,
I've been dealing with them for at least 10 years and they're miserable and inexperienced, not motivated, and very wealthy.
Yes.
And I have no sympathy for them, and the burning issues, by the way, I don't know another municipality that has actually completed the agreement with them. They've gone past the expiration date and they're still arguing. What they're all arguing about and trying to get Comcast to pay for is something called PEG service, which is a government program over our community TV, which I don't think have any interest. Haven't seen one shred of interest in our township, so I don't think it matters whether it's in there or not from our point of view.
Right.
So they've given, Salzman Hughes has been leading the charge, has been unsuccessful in getting any resolution. So there are a lot of noise and not very much action. They're very expensive, and what they would like to do, there are two things they want to do. They want to sign up more customers in Liberty Township, but only in the area that's involved also with Carroll Valley. And they wanted $100,000 to do that, to be contributed by the homeowners, to extend service from at the airport about a quarter of a mile up the hill toward your place. And that didn't get much support. Then they learned about all this money we're getting for COVID, and they reduced their demand down to $29,000. And the position that I took with them is that we need to know, we will be able to be enthusiastic about their service, but they gotta put it in for everybody in the Liberty Township. And they sent me a list of all the addresses that have service already, but they, as of yet, have not sent us any kind of a map showing where they have service. And it would seem to be unreasonable that we would pay for putting service in for a few of our residents when other people want it and can't get it. So, I think that's a dead end, and they keep talking about it, and they keep talking about finding money, and what they mean is that we should find the money to help them put in the service, and I don't think that's an acceptable way.
It's not, and I read their contract today, also, and there's things in there that they have not been compliant with for a long time, and I'm talking specifically about they're trimming their trees and shrubs from above their cable lines, and then we call, chief calls them, and when trees come down their lines and they're still out there from a year and a half ago, it's right in the contract, and they're responsible for cleaning it, and they don't. It's in the contract about burying their lines below the 36-inch ditching ordinance that we have, and their lines are still laying on the top of the ground along the right of way in the township. So they've never complied with that. So I'm not in favor of going forward with this contract fees franchise.
Well, where it stands right now is that they give our township about $8,500 a year, which is paid for by the people who subscribe to Comcast.
Right.
And we don't, as a township, benefit any way other than getting the $8,500, which we don't give to anybody else. We don't give it to community TV. We just use it, which is a fair contribution, I think. And there's very little chance of changing that franchise agreement. I have looked at the new copy that they sent. They just sent it yesterday.
Yeah, it just came in.
But I suspect it's exactly the same as the old one, and they're gonna say no to any changes we wanna make. And the thing expires in August. My recommendation is that we just let it, look at it for any changes from the last one. If it's the same as the last one, I think it's in our best interest to just continue it. And if we have things that we object to, we'll just raise the objections and duke it out with it. But I don't think they have anybody who has the moxie to really get in and adjust that franchise agreement. It's due to expire about in July. And what I plan to do, I have a whole file on it, all my conversations with all those people and with Dave in Carroll Valley too. He's at odds with him now. He was going to join him, but now he's sort of held up. But I'll take my whole file, I'll give it to Wendy, and she can put it in our files here. And if we have an energetic new supervisor who who would like to pick up the torch on that one, you're sure welcome to. But, Comcast is good service, probably better than DirecTV or some of the others, but they're very expensive.
Yeah.
And they're pretty damn arrogant, and they never make a mistake, and I don't like them. No, I don't dislike them, but it's a big, large corporation. So that's my report on Comcast.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, the last one we have in old business is the fire department donation. Wendy gave you a breakdown, I believe everyone got a breakdown of the fire reports that were given to the township for, January through December. Actually, the report is from January to October, we don't have November and December. It should be, 8E of your packet.
Should be 18.
8E.
I've never seen.
Did you find it in the back?
It looks like a chart.
Yeah, it says it was top 2021 fire, company
I
donation.
stamped draft all over it.
There's what?
Got a stamp draft all.
Draft.
Yeah, keep going, we're still, I'll keep on going back there.
It's pretty
Go to
good.
the back?
No,
Yes.
you got ready, it's right before, like, 1 page or 2.
No, I don't see it.
It's just stuck in the middle
Oh,
there.
okay. Did you
I
find
got
it?
stuck in the.
Go back one more, see these lines? That's what it was before.
Oh,
It's right there.
yeah.
Now, if you,
Hard to see through paper.
I need to get thicker paper.
so if you go down to,
Got it.
if
Okay.
you go down to your reports, you'll see, Fairfield has a total, I mean, we can go month by month if you want to, but if they have a total right now, excluding November and December, 16 calls in our township. Fountaindale has 11. Emmitsburg has 37 calls in our township. And then Arms, of course, is the Adams County, Adams Regional Emergency Management. They have 72. That's EMS calls. That's not fire calls. That's EMS calls. So there's a total of 135 calls to the animal altogether. If you break that down to percentage-wise, as we've been doing, that would be 12% of the calls. Fairfield made 8% for Fountaindale, 27% for Emmitsburg, and then EMS calls was 53% of EMS calls. So we have a total of $38,475 in other donations on our budget line item right now. Last year, I believe it was last year, we rescinded the fire tax and signed a resolution to take that off the tax roll and just roll it into the general fund. And then that way we could distribute funds to the different fire companies the way we felt we wanted to, and without them fighting and bickering and all the other stuff. So if you look at your sheet there, Wendy has the $38,475 broke down. If we wanted to just give all of it out and completely zero that account with the other donation account out, that's the breakdown if you want to go by those percentages. I don't particularly agree with those percentages because Fairfield is our main fire company. It's always been our main fire company, and it's the fire company that we have to support. These other fire companies are assistant fire companies to Fairfield. Emmitsburg has been a big help for us. Emmitsburg makes a lot of calls, but again, they are an assisting fire company to Fairfield, so is Fountaindale. So what I have done is Wendy and I talked about making some recommendations. I'm going to recommend that we give, instead of the $4,560, that we give Fairfield $10,000 in contributions for the 2021 calendar year.
Mickey, those calls,
Yeah.
total calls, is that first call? Is that the first on scene or how?
No, those calls they made.
Those are the ones they,
They made.
They
Those
made.
calls they reported they made.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
When Arms was first set up, they were included in the people that could be considered for donations, and they said they didn't need any money.
Yeah,
Now, they're not talking that way now, are they? How active are they in trying to
They're not.
solicit funds?
and that's the thing, I was gonna get to them, I'll go across here, Bob, and we can talk about
Okay.
that. So I'm recommending that we give a donation of $10,000 to Fairfield. Our 8% calculates to Fountaindale will be $31.35. I'm gonna recommend that we give them, $5,000. And then, for Emmitsburg, that we give them $10,000. That's $545 less than what the recommended, the 27%. Arms, they have here for $20,000. Arms told us very clearly the last time we offered them money, we was not gonna take that money, which is fine. So I have written down here the recommendation to make a donation of $2,500 to them. They can say yay or they can say nay. If they don't want it, then we'll put it back in the general fund, or we can distribute that $2,500 between the other fire companies. That would give us a total of $27,500 of donations for this year out of the other line item that we have for donations on there. And it would leave us approximately $11,000 that would stay in the general fund. And also, anyhow, there's the one recommendation is, so we'll talk about that.
Makes sense. Question,
Yeah.
these calls that are on here, Arms made 71 and Fairfield made 16.
Right.
Are they the equivalent dollar value of each? You know, it seems to me an Arms call is an ambulance, one vehicle running on gasoline with one driver running out to pick somebody up and take them to the hospital, whereas Fairfield could be 6 hook and ladder trucks and.
Well, the thing you have to look at, Bob, the way that goes, it doesn't quite go that easy. The fire calls, you're right, fire calls, they got rescue truck, you got, depending on the accident, you got your fire truck, and you got a couple of different pieces of apparatus. But when you're talking ambulance or EMS, Arms now, when they roll, they're not just a BLS unit, they are an ALS unit. So now you have we have a paramedic on board all these ambulances. Every one of these calls now is a paramedic. So you have a driver, you have a paramedic, and you might even have an attendant. I don't know if they got 3 member boards or not. But you do have, so now you've got ALS on there. So,
Well, my question is a call for an AMS equivalent to a call for the fire department? In other words, we're using 16 compared to 71. And eventually, we're gonna be asked to give more money, I'm sure, to Arms. I think so, but are we using the right basis in considering a call to be equivalent?
well, and that, that's kind of tough because if you take Arms and they are for profit, even though they say they're not for profit, they are for profit because when they go out on any calls, ALS calls, they send a bill to every resident. If you're a member of them, they don't send it to you, they'll send it to your insurance company, so they're still billing the insurance company.
Yeah.
So that is not really a non-profit
That's
organization.
Well, maybe we.
They're billing your insurance company, they're still billing your insurance company, and like I said, we offered them last year a donation and they said no, they weren't taking donations.
I agree with the way you've done it this year. I think I would support that. But I'm wondering, going forward, maybe to next year, maybe an Arms call would be worth half a call, or a quarter of a call, or a quarter of a call. In other words, adjust our donation formula so that it isn't heavily raised in favor.
Well, one thing we tried to do, I tried to do with them last year, and I didn't do it this year because Eric, which is was their main, was he president of operations, something like that? I forgot about Eric's thing, no?
Yeah, he was in charge.
He was in charge. So we were talking about eliminating this membership thing of $100 per household, and he had presented me with a proposal that if we signed up everybody, it's $50 a household for up to 3 members in the house. that's complete membership. The township would pay that at a $50, half the price of what they charge the resident. And, but the thing is, we have to ratify, do it, I guess, by vote to see if the residents wanna do that, because if we're gonna incur a $50 fee, then we gotta be able to capture
Special
some-
tax.
a special tax for that, and then they wouldn't bill any of our residents in our entire township. But he left before that, and we didn't get any response back from our letters, at least, the notice that we sent.
All I'm suggesting is that going forward, not this year, consider the cost or the value of the various types of service that we get.
Yeah,
And with the fire company, I think it's pretty well, each one does the same sort of thing.
Right.
But with an ambulance service, I don't know. And
yeah, and that's gonna be, I think you're right, I think that's something we gotta look at from year to year and address it each year, how it comes down, because
well,
like I
it's-
said, our arms, last year, we went to give them, what, $17,000, and they said no.
yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, if somebody wants to give me $17,000, I'd be taking it.
What is
But-
there, what areas does ARMS cover? Obviously Liberty
All Adams
Township,
County,
all of Adams.
all of that.
Most of that.
Just about, right, you're right, it's not completely all of it, but just about all of
Okay.
that. They have medic, what they, now they call them their NICU units.
Yeah.
Their NIC units, which are paramedic units. They have one in Gettysburg, or two in Gettysburg, I think, one in Fairfield, one in Biggerville, and there's one in New Oxford. You see, am I missing any?
No, because I think Saves has their own.
Saves has their own, that's right. So there's your NIC units throughout Adams County. So they have NIC units staged throughout Adams County at different places to cover all of their county.
Okay.
All right, well,
One other question.
yeah.
When Fairfield gave up its ambulance service to ARMS, what did they get in exchange for that? Anything? Did they sell the equipment?
They
Make a profit?
They sold, yeah, as far as I know, they sold them, yeah, they bought their equipment from them.
So
And now ARMS pays Fairfield, rental to have a storage bay in the Fairfield Fire Department.
Do they utilize the quarters upstairs?
I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
I would say yes, but I don't know for sure. I don't know what their agreement is, but they do have an agreement.
Well, I agree with the way you cut it up this year.
Okay, well, that's what we'll do then. I'll make a motion that we distribute the fire, the donation to the fire companies accordingly to the sheet, 10,000 to Fairfield. Are you writing this down?
Yes,
You write that down?
10,000, 5,000 Fountaindale, 10,000 Emmitsburg, and 2,500 to ARMS.
Correct.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. And, the only thing I wanted on that too, I wanna make sure that going forward in our budget items, that we don't have a line item that says other donations that,
Question.
yes.
What if ARMS turns down that 2,500? What are we going with that?
Well, we'll come back to the board here and decide what we wanna do with 2,500.
Okay, very good.
Alrighty, and we're gonna move into new business for public comment. Anybody on the line for public comment? I hear none. Do you wanna comment about anything, Mr. Butler? Okay. No public comment. The Adams County Office of Planning and Development Data Used for Authorization. If you read this, what they wanna do, I actually have, Mr. Lester, did you review this?
You did, you talked to Mr. Barlow about it weeks ago on the phone.
This planning and development about this agreement? They want us to sign an agreement to let them do the mapping for,
Yeah, may I see?
Well, I sent it to you when I sent you also the banking forms, I
Yeah.
sent you this as well.
they're redoing the mapping and stuff like that for the planning, for the Adams County Planning Board. And they need permission from each township, because some of the information they have to,
Yeah, I don't see any, I don't remember reviewing it, but maybe it's because it was a review just like this, I don't see much of a problem with
Okay.
it. I mean,
alright, now if you don't see much of a problem with it, then do you want any time to review it any further, or you want us to go ahead and make a motion?
no, I mean, it's just, you're just allowing them to use the data so they can do it for their mapping.
Right.
I mean, I
They've
don't,
been pressuring me for an answer, and I told them they had to wait till after today.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and give them permission, to use the data that they've collected from our township.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Thank you. The next thing we have here is, the tax collector bank access. That's a thing with EIN number, that's shared by Jessica and the township. And, that EIN number has been that way forever. It seems that Adams County Bank is, go ahead and say it again.
All I know is they recently, they keep updating their banking system. And however their banking system is, because Jessica has the EIN the same as ours, she shows up on all our forms as having access. But they promise us that I can't see her files and she can't see my files. But every once in a while when they do an update, that gets goofed and I have access to her account and she has access to mine. So that's what the problem is. It's not an ongoing access, it's every time they're doing an update in their system or something, it accidentally gives us access to each other's bank accounts.
So do you both have the same user and password, or do you have separate?
Definitely not.
That's why I'm asking.
It's just on your screen, like,
No,
I
I
haven't
can-
had access, but it would be seen that it'll say, like, it has all the township accounts, and then she could see my tax collector.
But I can
She would
actually
click
go
on it
into
if she
your,
had,
I can go into your account and make a transfer
if she wanted to.
if I wanted to, because I
Oh, really?
tested it. I was like, oh, is this just a viewing thing? Oh, no, I actually have access to get in here and transfer, because I didn't
Tax dollars.
completely, yeah, in her files. But it's not ongoing, they corrected it when we reported it, it's happened one or two times. It seems to be when they're doing a
It
system
happened when I
update.
first opened my account,
Yeah.
I had access to everything and they changed it,
Because-
and when they did the update. you
Because
had access to
by
it.
default, since her account is set up with the same EIN number,
Yeah,
that's why that's happening.
well, we only have one EIN number.
I know that, I don't have I'm like, Mr. Barlow asked me to put that on there, that's why I put it on there. I just reported it, and then I asked the bank to issue a letter stating that we did not have permissions, and he did issue that letter to us, so but it's kind of a fluky thing that keeps happening, you need to be aware of it, just security reasons.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, my thing is both of you gone.
I don't
maximum,
have, it's just that you need to know that that's,
Right.
I'm not objecting to it, I'm not telling you to do anything, I'm just.
You're bonded to the maximum amount, correct, and you're bonded to the maximum amount, so.
Well, getting an EI number is relatively easy, it's just,
No, that's a different issue.
All I know is that all tax collectors always use the township numbers, it's been discussed at meetings, and they say it always comes up as an issue, but that's just how it's been done, and nobody's ever done anything different, and everybody does it that way.
Because I was requesting that before, when we were getting a new tax collector, I was like, why
It's
does
because
it?
they also have to be on my account, the township supervisors are on my bank account,
Right.
they all have access.
Yeah, because we have to have access for payroll and so forth.
Not,
But that doesn't have to do with me,
What
but
have
it's
you
still on my
been doing?
account for the township.
On your
When I
account.
open my account,
Okay,
you have to
your
sign it. Mhm.
I thought you were talking about general.
No.
yeah, she's talking about her tax account.
well, it seems to me that maybe it's a banking issue.
It is the
It
bank,
is a bank
it's the
issue,
bank
yeah.
problem. I'm just making the township aware that this bank has a fluke, it's a breach, okay? I'm just making you aware of it, if you're okay with it. Jessica and I aren't planning on robbing each other's bank accounts. But also, because this did happen, I'm just making you aware, as transparency.
Well, yeah, and that's
And that
duly
is
noted,
an
but
AC and bank banking.
I've seen the changes too when they do updates, when you go to, confirm payroll and so forth, sometimes that changes. You kinda gotta look around again and figure out how to confirm.
That's
payroll.
true, but
Now, the last two times I've done it, it's been consistent. Prior to that, it changed a couple of times.
Right.
Right, but and every time they change it, it happens,
Yeah.
when they're updating and implementing a new system or upgrading their system. It probably defaults back to any special things that they had to do to keep us from seeing each
So
other.
what we can do is we can keep, if this becomes a problem, we can always change banks.
That's true, right now, it's fine. I mean, I can't see.
Find one that's any better.
Yeah. That's a difficult problem right there. All right,
All right. that's
the
all.
other question on that, I wanted to ask, because I know we were talking about when you were out for your surgery thing, and we needed to try to do payroll, and it wouldn't allow us to do payroll. Did we get that?
I have those forms and we'll just do them in January when Brandon comes on board.
Okay,
We'll sign
all
them.
right, okay. All right, we're gonna move on then, if there's no other discussion on that, to, item C, the deputy tax collector, that's just pretty much foregoing. Tammy Knight is, the alternate. I'll make a motion that we continue to hold her as the alternate, Jessica's deputy tax collector, for the 2022, year, tax season.
Mickey, I just need that signed, cause it has to go to county.
Do you have your original?
You don't want mine, because I scribble all that.
Yeah, you
I'll give you the original.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we appoint her as, the deputy for the tax collector for 2022. Anybody have discussion? Do I have a second?
I'll second
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll get the copy and sign that one for you. The other one, the ACA
Akato.
Akato bylaw changes, if you had an opportunity or care, they were sent to you to review. They don't really affect us since we withdrew ourselves from the group. So I have no problems with whatever the
So
bylaws
would
are.
it be okay to respond that the board has no objection?
Yeah, this week's under that, board has no objections. Fuel prices, I don't have anything in paper here, Wendy's been working on that, Jessica.
Jessica was working on
Yeah,
that.
Jessica was, we did get, McLaughlin's, got back with us, they're willing to give us a price, for the diesel off-road and on-road. They will not lock in for gas because of the current gas situation, fluctuations. Right now, for, the fuel prices for 2022, we'll have the information for that at the January meeting.
Arrow's currently doing that, right?
Yeah,
Arrow,
sure.
that's what you meant. Arrow's the only one we got back.
McLaughlin.
Everybody else was
Arrow.
on
Oh, I'm
there.
sorry, that's a
Yeah.
McLaughlin, thank you,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, it's Aaron, I'm sorry.
McLaughlin's what, propane?
Yes,
Yeah.
propane,
No, I thought Mason Dixon was. Mason.
not propane, the Mason-Dixon's propane, sorry,
Coming up in the new year.
yes, they're propane,
Okay, yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, at $1.50, we locked in at $1.50 a gallon for them for the entire season.
Damn, I wish I could get that.
And of course, like I said, we're still trying to work on this thing with Aaron.
So we'll look for more, try to get this back on in January for fuel.
Yes, because Aaron's the only one responded,
Yeah.
Tavis has not responded, they're the ones that led
If
to
we
the
had
drop.
prior to that.
Yes, they dropped us, because we wasn't buying enough fuel from them.
Yeah, nobody else responded, and then I did ask him to confirm the diesel lock-in prices, and he suggested that we adjust all of our gas.
We are gonna adjust the gases to 600, for the off-road, 600 gallons, on-road, 600 gallons. And then for the gas, I believe
We did 2,900, I think we were gonna.
29, we contracted for 4,000, and we used a little over, 2,700 gallons?
It was, he's estimating like 2,859.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna round it up to 2,900 gallons. Okay, that's where we're at on fuel pricing there, nothing else on the agenda, so I'm making a motion for, unless you guys have
No,
something.
there is something else, we need to set the meeting dates and times.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna discuss the board meeting start.
Shoot, I don't think you're not packing.
We don't have anything in your packet for that.
No, that's the discussion.
All right, well, Jessica, sent out the thing to all of us, I saw it, I did print it off, put it on my desk over there, for, the next ensuing year for our meetings to change, to 6 P.M. Is everybody good with 6 P.M.?
I kinda like really late like this.
We didn't ask.
She doesn't count.
Like I said,
Wait, there's a call for 32.
All right, is 6 o'clock good with the, do you give us 6 o'clock? Do you give us 6 o'clock? Do you give us 6 o'clock?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yes, definitely.
Everybody's good at 6 o'clock? All right, so I'm gonna make a motion at 6 o'clock will be, starting January, 2022 will be our meeting times, and we'll have to advertise that.
I'll put those in
And, they had dates
It'll still
already,
be first Tuesday of the month,
first Tuesday of the month,
6 p.m.
6 P.M.
And now the board meeting is Monday.
Yeah, the reorg meeting is January 3rd on Monday. Now, originally it was, sounded like we were gonna have some issues, we're trying to get that done. Bobby, now what is the what has changed,
Well, actually, I'm trying to change some dates on a VRBO that my wife and I had scheduled for 2 weeks. I didn't realize it till this afternoon late. I looked up on the whiteboard and went, oh my. So anyhow, as you know, I have some other things I'm gonna miss that day. And, she was gonna she already messaged the person that owns the VRBO to see if we could change the dates a couple days later for 2 weeks, so I don't know if she's been successful or not. Would it be possible that I can let you know in the morning?
Yeah, I say you can let us know, 'cause
Worst
we-
case scenario, I'll have to do it by phone.
alright, yeah, because
That'd
we,
be worst case scenario for all of us.
yeah, 'cause we have to, by state, second class code, we have to
I
have a meeting
understand
on
that,
that
I'm
date.
aware of that.
So we just have to get the time for it.
Yeah.
Right now, it's tentatively for 6 o'clock,
Leave it at 6 o'clock.
Okay, all right.
January 3rd, 6 o'clock.
With the regular meeting immediately
Yeah,
following.
we will do
Yeah.
a meeting after that, and then the, planning board is gonna keep their schedule at 7:30 on the third Thursday,
Third Tuesday.
third Tuesday of each month for the year
As needed.
2022, yes.
As needed, because
As
we
needed.
don't meet every month.
And the,
Board of Auditors,
Board of Auditors on January 4th at 7:30.
no,
correct.
they wanna do 6 o'clock as
They
well.
wanna do 6 o'clock.
They were very happy that we were doing that, they wanted to have a 6 p.m. meeting.
Right, so that's the board's, at the reorg meeting, and then they
So
do
the
the
Board of
meeting,
Auditors, right?
board auditor meeting after that.
Okay.
Okay, anything else?
Just wanna vote to do that and then get a second and move on.
We'll make a motion that we accept those times at 6 P.M., first Tuesday of each month, for 2022, January 3rd, will be 6 P.M., for the reorg meeting, regular meeting following immediately thereafter. The auditors meeting is January 4th at 6 P.M., and the planning board will be the third, Tuesday of each month at 7:30.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Praise the Lord. Okay,
I
now,
have one more thing.
Get her.
No, seriously, unless Wendy took care of it.
No, can't do it.
go ahead.
The starting salary.
We didn't touch that.
Okay.
So I didn't, I thought you guys.
No, we don't need to,
You wanna
because
do
we,
that in January?
Well, no, but,
you need a part-time?
well, yeah, but we said, when you and I discussed it, it would be the starting salary for the part-time and any full-timer who wasn't already
It
at.
basically means we have a
We already
part-time.
did that, we made that motion at
You
the,
did not make the motion to increase the current part-timer who is already under $21 an
Well,
hour.
actually, there's 2 of them, I think, that are under 21.
No.
No,
Okay.
there's just one.
No, just.
Oh, okay,
I
yeah.
thought for sure at the budget meeting we did that.
I don't
How long
know,
has he
that's
worked
not
here?
answered.
12 years.
12 years.
Fourteen.
But how long has he
14.
been drawing a paycheck?
14.
Alright, I thought I did that, but we
Okay,
retroactive made the motion that the part-timers' new set salary for 2022 is $21.
Well, 2022, but not for 2020.
No. 2022.
22.
We'll do that, yeah, then you can do it in
Gotta
January.
get that
That's
done.
fine, that's fine. And we're gonna set it in
You
January
haven't
anyway, when
plugged
we
in
announce
budget?
it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yes, you got to put in the budget, yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so we do
He only
that.
has one more pay period to
Yeah, I
it.
got one more paper.
No, that's fine.
And we
I
will
just-
set it in January, because we announce it when everybody's paid. in January.
Okay, all right.
We set everybody's paid in January.
Yes, we do. Anything else? Nothing else? Everybody got a clean
Did we
heart?
vote on that?
Everybody's got a clean heart, clean mind.
Yes.
Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Your final act, Bob.
Thank you, Rob, again for your time and your service on the board.
I think you're off to a good start this year.
Well, let's see about that.
I'm gonna miss